What's up? What's up, everybody? Happy Friday, December 20th. Welcome to another episode of BizBuzz Live. Your host, Chris Muzan, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live. We're here. We're excited for another episode, another chance to get to talk about some things around the world of cash flow, the world of making money. Last week, we talked about the best businesses to start in 2025. Today, we're going to talk about the worst businesses to start. Stick around. All right. What's up, everybody? It's your host, Chris Muzan here, your financial coach, helping you through all things finance. We're back with another BizBuzz Live. As always, super excited to have these conversations around cash flow. Again, the thesis of this, man, we started this because every time sitting down with someone, inevitably coaching them through their financial life, whether it's insurance, investments, savings, debt, inevitably it comes back to cash flow. It comes back to how are people making money, how much is coming in and how much is going out. And I often talk about the what's going out part, and talk about tracking and budgeting and making sure that you're aware of where all of your money is going. That part of it is incredibly important. But the other side that's also incredibly important is how do you make money? How do you make money? How does money come into your into your life? Maybe you have a job, maybe you have a 40 to 60 hour a week job, and that's all you do. You have one stream of income. More than likely, it's not enough for you unless, again, high paid professional. More than likely, your one income is not enough. So then what else do we do? How do we go off? How do we start looking at new industries? How do we find small businesses to start? Maybe you're fully on the entrepreneurial side of things and that's all you do. Maybe you want multiple streams of income. Maybe you've already gotten a chance to start and dabble in some business, but maybe you don't know where to go or what the next business is or what the move is. That's what we're here to talk about. It's cash flow. We don't have enough of these conversations. It's real easy to tell people to start budgeting and tracking their money, but the other side is how do you go make more? How do you go make more? And again, last week we got a chance to talk a little bit about the 10 best businesses in our opinion, right? And we actually used a clip from a gentleman on TikTok, which we should probably tag him or tag the video down below somewhere here in the comments. It's probably smart. But we use that video, and then we also today are going to use his other video of the 10 worst businesses to start in 2025. So these are going to be some businesses with tough margins and high risks and declining profitability. But if that is you and you are thinking about how do I start a business, how do I open a business, which industry should I get into, we're going to talk about the things to get away from. If you want to think about the industries that you do want to look at, go back, look at last week's BizBuzz Live. We talked about the 10 most profitable businesses to start in 2025. I know a lot of those were some trades businesses, some handyman things. It's funny because right after I did that call, I actually had a one-on-one coaching session, and I was talking to a friend of ours and a client of ours, and talking about what his ideas were for next year, for how to bring in more income, like all of those things. And two of the industries that he talked about, two businesses, landscaping and handyman, were both on the list of the most profitable businesses to start in 2025. Right. So I obviously encouraged him down the path, said, hey, let's think about how we can put this together. It's about working on your business and not in your business all the time. So it's not a matter of I don't want to cut grass forever. It's a matter of how do I create a business in an industry that is booming. I mentioned this on last week's show. I said Wayne Gretzky has a quote where he says, The reason why I was successful is because I skated to where the puck was going, not to where the puck is. I skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. So we can take that advice in our business life. We can take that advice in our business life to say, don't skate, don't start a business from what you've already seen or what you think things are at right now. That's skating to where the puck is. We have to skate to where the puck is going. What's going to be good in 2026, in 2027, in 2030? That's the businesses, the industries we got to get into. Don't think about old industries. Times change, asset classes change, industries up and down. So you got to know we're not going back. If just because your buddy started a business in a certain industry in trucking 8 years ago and then was doing well, this may not be the time to start that business, because in 2028, we might not need trucks. We might not need truck drivers, right? So you got to understand to skate to where the puck is going and not to just where the puck is. So stick around because we're going to get into the number one. We're going to rank these. I'm going to share the screen with you guys so you can take a listen to this and see what your thoughts are on these things. Let's
Number 10.
really quick. All right, let's dive in. Let's see what number 10 is.
The 10 worst businesses you can start in 2025. Number 10 is cleaning businesses. Any type of cleaning businesses, whether it's pressure washer, window cleaning, any type of cleaning business. Number 9 is real estate.
All right, let's start there, because that, again, we know a ton of people that want to start cleaning businesses. Now, he didn't give much of an explanation, right, as to why not to start a cleaning business. I know people that have cleaning businesses, and again, they have been successful. But moving forward, maybe, right, they're just a little bit lower profitability. I'll tell you one of the toughest reasons in starting a cleaning business. If you want to grow and scale the business, it's hard to find people that want to clean. That's one of the downsides of lots of businesses, is the employees that are needed. Finding employees, for any entrepreneur that's out there, finding if your job or the business that you're creating is going to require you to find employees, it's one of the hardest businesses, right? Cleaning business. You're going to need employees. You're going to need people to clean. You're going to need people to help you, right? Sweep and mop and do all the stuff. So at the end of the day, if you can't find people, you're not going to have much of a business. If you can't find people that want to do that work, you're not going to have much of a business. You're going to be stuck doing that work. You're going to be self-employed. You're going to get burnt out. It might not be the business for you to start in 2025, right? Let's listen to the next one.
Real estate is not what it used to be. Return on capital investment is piss poor.
All right. Again, these are very popular ones, but I know this will shake some people up. And again, this is just one guy's opinion, so to speak, but I'm sure we can find the numbers to validate that starting in real estate in 2025 may not be your most profitable business to start. One of the reasons I always tell you that it's not necessarily going to be profitable in the real estate side is just because of supply and demand. Supply and demand, that's how businesses are operated. If there's a huge demand for what you do and you can supply it, you'll likely be successful. If that curve is off, if there's more supply than there is demand, then you won't make money. So on two fronts in real estate, it's tough. One, oversaturated as far as agents. As agents, you have 15 brokerages, 15 real estate brokerages in your city, and each one of those brokerages has 20 agents, but you only have a certain amount of homes. So then obviously, it's going to be saturated. It's going to be saturated when it comes to how much opportunity you have to go off and sell a home and buy a home, right? I have some content coming out that says that last year, 47, almost 50% Almost 50% of realtors didn't even sell a home. Didn't even sell not one home. So that is why this may not be the most profitable business for you moving into 2025. All right, let's keep going.
Number 8 is travel agencies. Number 7 is tax preparation companies. Number 6 is self-storage units. Think about it. It's not even a business. It's a real estate venture. Number 5 is locksmith. When you go from house to house or
All right, so I actually missed that one. My daughter was talking to me and she distracted me, so I gotta go. I gotta go back and listen to what I was just saying. What he just said.
it's a real estate venture. Number 5 is locksmith. When
Locksmith.
you go from house to house or business to business, and your average,
Wait, did we miss 6 or 7?
think about it. It's not even a business. And it's tax preparation companies.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we missed a
Number
bunch.
8 is travel agencies. Number 7 is tax preparation companies.
All right, so let's lock into those two. Number 8, travel agencies, right? Why might that not be one of the businesses to start? Again, we're talking about profitability aspect of things. How profitable is it? Most times we have the ability to what? Do Expedia or right, whatever place you book your travel from. I just came back from a vacation. I did not choose to use a travel agent because I didn't feel like I need to. I can assess my own pricing. I can obviously get quotes and all those things and figure out my itinerary. Chat GPT is great for figuring out itineraries. One of our friends, right, just talked about creating an itinerary for our next trip, and it all comes up. So starting a business as a travel agent in 2025 may not be one of the things that's going to bring you profitability. Not saying that you don't have a friend that's been a travel agent for 15 years and they are relatively successful. That's quite possible. But again, I'll keep coming up with this Wayne Gretzky quote: you got to skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is. So there's industries that have been good that have died or are slowly dying. And if you want to get in while an industry is dying, it's not going to look good for you. Again, might have nothing to do with your skill set, might have nothing to do with your talent, might have nothing to do with your willpower and your desire and all of those things. The only thing that matters, the only thing that matters is the industry isn't good. So you could put in all the work, but you just chose a bad industry. You chose an industry that was on a decline because of something you might have heard in the past. And that's why we're trying to have these conversations, right? Around what are the industries to stay away from and what are the industries to get into, okay? The next one, we missed one. I think it was locksmith. Let me go back.
Preparation companies. Number 6 is
tax preparation companies, tax prepare companies. So again, not the, if you are a CPA or you are an accountant or you want to get to a place where you are servicing people on a tax level, because financial professionals are constantly needed in all different areas. However, if you are just setting up a tax preparation business, if you're just there to do somebody's taxes and then move on, well, maybe this isn't the business to start in 2025. Why? Because we have all these automated things, TurboTax, Intuit, all of these types of businesses in the tax preparer space. They're going to become more automated. They're going to use more AI. They're going to use more of their resources to be able to get their customers. So for you starting that business, how much can you really charge for a tax return? Right? How much can you really charge to, if you're a novice, right? Not your CPA, not your high-end accountant, but a novice person that's just starting a tax preparation business. How much can you charge to do somebody's taxes? A couple $100s? So how many people's taxes do you have to do for a couple $100s to make that a profitable business for you? It would take a lot. It would take a lot. But that's why we're here to kind of talk about the things to potentially stay away from.
self-storage units. Think about it. It's not even a business. It's a real estate venture.
Self-storage units. Again, a lot of these things, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these things I know you have thought of. You have thought of because someone 7 years ago said you should get into storage units, right? Not that these have never been profitable. Not that these have never made people money. It's just, will they make you money in 2025? That's the question. And if you're just getting started or you're looking for your new venture, you have to pay attention to where the puck is going. So self-storage units might not be the most profitable. It's more of a real estate investment than it is an actual business, right? You are purchasing, normally it's a land play, right? It's a land play and what you're able to do on that land. And again, yes, there's some storage units out there that have been successful. I've seen TikToks and other videos of people that have a bunch of storage units. But the question is, when you're ready to get started in 2025, is that the right move? Is that a good move? Is that a good move? That's what we're questioning. Here's another one for you.
Number 5 is locksmith. When you go from house to house or business to business and your average sale is $300, how can you make any money?
A locksmith. I don't know how many of you were thinking about starting locksmith businesses, right? I don't know that was a very popular business to start. However, if you are thinking of starting a locksmith business, maybe this isn't the year to do it. Again, sure, you can find your niche. I'm sure that makes sense. However, is it profitable? And just like he said, if your job is to go house to house making $300, how long do you need to, how many people do you need to service? How many houses do you need to go to before you make back your money? I used to have this conversation with a lot of business owners that would sell, I remember one off the top of my head. I don't know if she's still in business, but I chatted with her maybe 8-9 years ago, and she ran a dog treat store, right? A store that sold dog treats, but she had an actual storefront. She was in retail. She had an actual storefront, but all she sold in there were dog treats. And she could upsell or step up to like a dog cake or something like that, right? That's a little bit more pricey. But I would always ask her, how much is your rent, like your overhead, your expenses? And how many dog treats do you need to sell in order to just break even for the month? Like, how many dog treats will make up selling dog treats at $1.50? How many of those do you need to sell in order to pay for the rent in the storefront? So similar, the gentleman's talking about a locksmith business. How many actual, right, like cars do you need to open, or doors do you need to unlock or put in locks for, that will actually generate you a profit? This is why it's one of the worst businesses to start in 2025. Here's another one.
Number 4 is pest control. Again, for the same reasons. The margins are just piss poor. And especially when you can buy stuff at Home Depot or other places to do it yourself.
Here we go. Again, we're talking about these low margin type businesses. Low margin type businesses like a pest control. Again, I don't know who out there was thinking about starting a pest control company. Maybe it was you, right? I'm not sure. But if you were thinking about it, the question is, how many houses do you have to service in order for you to get your money back to turn this into a profit, when people can go off and do it themselves? When there's probably not a high demand for what you're doing. You might be able to supply something, but there's probably not a high demand for new pest control companies. I don't hear many homeowners or real estate owners saying, man, I really can't find anyone to come do my pest control, right? I really can't find anyone to come spray in my house. Normally, no one's saying that, which means there's not really a demand for it. It's the demand, the supply and demand are probably pretty close. Right? Whatever the demand for has already been supplied. So when you start thinking about the businesses that you want to go off and start, you also have to think about the supply and demand arbitrage, right? Let's listen to the next one.
Number 3 is new car dealers. Think about the investment, the capital you need to start a new car dealer. What, just to sell 4 or 5 cars a day? It makes no sense.
Again, there we go, right? Opening up a car dealership. Now, it's different from you going off to sell cars. By the way, I believe the car market is kind of jacked up right now too, right? Anyway, so there might not be a ton of money in that side. There might not be a ton of money, but especially if you said, okay, I want to go open up a car lot. I can go get some of these used cars. Maybe I have a mechanic background. I can fix some things and let me throw these cars on the lot. Well, I don't know if you know, again, what's happening in the car market right now, but at the end of the day, there's a lot happening where people are losing car value. People are selling cars for a lower value, and most people aren't able to purchase cars because of where we're at in the economy, people's personal finances. If they try to finance these cars, right, you're getting them at high interest rates. So starting a car dealership in 2025, probably one of the worst businesses to start. You're setting yourself up for it not being successful. Doesn't mean that it hasn't been in the past. This is the point I'm trying to make to y'all, because sometimes we get in the, well, I know someone that has that business and they do really well. Sure, there's a season for lots of different businesses. There's a season for them. However, talking about moving into 2025, what's going to be the right businesses for you?
Number two is laundromats. Everybody keeps talking about laundromats, all because of a famous video. Laundromats are terrible businesses, very far away from client centric. And
Listen, let me just tell you guys this, because there are a bunch of videos, specifically Cody Sanchez. I love Cody Sanchez. I think she's great. I think she gives a wealth of knowledge. And she talks a lot about boring businesses. And for some reason, people got it in their mind that laundromats are one of these businesses that just cash flow you and are profitable and make a bunch of money and all those things. I wish I pulled it up, but I didn't. I just saw another TikTok of a guy that actually just started a laundromat business, like actually just bought a laundromat. He bought it. It has another piece of commercial real estate next to it that potentially he could rent out because it's a real estate play. But he went through the numbers of the actual laundromat. He went through the numbers of the actual laundromat. I really got to find that. I really think it would be very beneficial if you guys saw that video. I don't know if I saved it on TikTok or if there's a way I can pull it up. I'm going to try to pull it up for you guys, because the fact that we're talking about this, the fact that we're talking about how laundromats may not be the business to start in 2025, despite whatever you saw online, you might need some proof, right? You might need some proof. All right, here we go. I found it, but now how do I get it to you? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy the link. I'm going to send it over to the email. There's probably an easier way to do this, but we're going to do it this way, because I really want you guys to see this, especially because we brought this up. Send that. All right, cool. Let me see if I can dive in here and I can get to you this video real quick. Gmail. Because again, we're talking about the worst businesses to start in 2025. Not last week, we talked about the most profitable businesses to start. This week, we're talking about the worst businesses to start. And number 2 on this list happens to be laundromats. Now, I'm going to see if I can pull this up so you guys can see this TikTok. It might be a couple minutes long, but regardless, I think it's going to help you. Here we go. You might not be able to hear that. I'm going to pause it because I think my StreamYard says you guys might not be able to hear that. It says that it lost the audio. But either way, breaking this down because the numbers are on the screen, it said he bought this laundromat, has a different part of it. He has a different part that also he could rent out, right, commercially. Mortgage, 2,200, insurance, taxes, utilities, cleaning, total 5692. That's how much his expenses are on purchasing this laundromat. 5,000, let's just say $5,700 in the month, right? $5,700 in the month. I'm going to just skip so I can see the number to show you guys the number of what he's making on this. So here's the number of what he's making on this for 1 month. For 1 month, out of the washers and dryers, made 5,300. Out of the vending machines, another 865. So 6219. 6219. So in 1 month, his expenses were 57 and he made 62. What's that difference? $500. $500, y'all. Now, sure, could he have better months? Absolutely. You want to take the Cody Sanchez approach and start investing more into it, meaning upgrade your machines, add more technology, raise the prices. Those are the things that could start to generate. This is the business owner mindset. You got to do some things to improve the business. So sure, he can go off and do that. But just from a one-to-one, understanding what we're looking at, where some of the worst businesses to start are laundromats because of the low margin. Would you start a business? And again, if all things were even every month, would you take on the overhead, the time, the liability to make yourself an extra $6,000 a year? And that's without any random expenses popping up or anything, right? Roof leaking, any of those things. Would that be a smart business for you to start? More than likely, the answer to that is no. More than likely. Here's the last one. Here's the last one. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm gonna put it up on the screen just to make sure you guys can share this one again. If you can't hear it, it is what it is. I'll let you know. Let's come back.
And last mile delivery. One,
if you can't hear it,
very
I'll
far
let you
away
know.
from client centric. And tied for number one, restaurants, trucking, and last mile delivery. What do you think of this?
If you didn't hear that, he said tied for number one of the worst businesses to start in 2025, restaurants, trucking, and last mile delivery. That's what he said. He said restaurants, trucking, last mile delivery. Why are these the worst businesses to start? Again, I'll speak from experience in the restaurant space. Restaurants are one of the lowest margin businesses that you could ever start. One of the most labor and capital intensive businesses, has one of the highest failure rates, and has one of the lowest margins. So think about that. Number one, restaurants being one of the worst businesses to start. Why? Because it's a high overhead. $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on the low end to build out something that you want to make happen. Right? It's one of those things where the restaurant always needs to be fed, so to speak, right? Meaning whether you have sales or not, you will always have expenses. You have to buy new food. It's a labor intensive business. You need lots of people to run it. You need cooks. You need people to answer the phone. Otherwise, it's just going to be you, and you can't do it all and scale that way. And three, it's one of the lowest profitability businesses. Lowest profitability. You would, again, you would be blowing it out the water if you brought 20% to the bottom line. If you brought 15% to the bottom line in a restaurant, you would be a superstar. Most restaurants are working off a less than 10% profit margin. So how do you grow that? How do you scale that? Unless you're really talented, have a big name, got really good ideas. But even then, it may not be the business you want to start in 2025. We also talked about trucking. Man, I have a ton of TikToks about the trucking industry and how people are selling off their trucks. Went and got a CDL. Then people said 4 years ago, right? Pandemic time blew up the trucking industry. It's out of there. Now everybody's getting a CDL and everybody's buying trucks. Now everybody's doing it. And then it all slows down. It all starts shutting down. Now they're not paying you a lot to go do those loads. Now you're not able to book all the things that you want to book. gas goes up. The trucking industry is not the business to start in 2025. Again, I hear you saying, but I know people that are successful in trucking. So do I. However, we have to skate to where the puck is going, not to where the puck is or has been. It's the easiest way to lose in business. You got to see what is going to be big in 2027, 2028, 2030. Maybe 3 or 4 episodes ago here, go back, check the archives in LinkedIn and YouTube. I talked about what are some industries that will benefit under Trump's new presidency. What are some industries that are going to flourish? Go back, look at that. Take a look. A lot of those things are in the trades, are in the construction, are in the manual labor side of things. They're going to flourish. What may not flourish? Things like restaurants, things like trucking. These might not be the industries to start in 2025. He also said last mile delivery. Last mile delivery, I don't think anyone was really thinking about, but Amazon and Temu and Walmart and them, they're going to take that game. Sometimes it's not smart to step into the game with big, ginormous players because they're going to swallow you up, Pauls. So those are things to think about. Worst businesses. Let's run through the list one more time for those of you that are just checking in. What are the 10 worst businesses you can start because they have tough margins, high risk, declining profitability, like whatever it is, labor intensive. What are the ones we talked about? Number 10, cleaning businesses, right? Includes pressure washing, window cleaning, all those types of things. It's a bad idea because, again, lots of manual labor that is needed. Real estate, we talked about. The market isn't as lucrative as it used to be anymore. It's highly saturated, and normally it's tough to make money when the supply and demand arbitrage is a bit off. Travel businesses, being a travel agent, the risk, it's a risky industry, fluctuating demand, right? The economy is uncertain. There's competition. You can do it all by yourself if you needed to. So that would not be the business to start in 2025. Number 7, tax preparation companies, DIY software, TurboTax, all of these things are going to take market share from the common average person that just wants to have their taxes prepared. Is not talking about CPAs or accountants or people that add more services on because they have expertise. People that just can do taxes for people. It's a declining need for that service. Number 6 was self-storage units, right? It's often mistake for great real estate venture, but it's really not. It's an overcrowded market. It's a declining demand in lots of areas. Huge upfront investment. It may not be the thing that you need to do in order to in order to build your business in 2025. We talked about locksmith services. I don't know who was starting a locksmith business anyway, but if you were, probably not the thing to do if you're only getting a couple $100 per client that you see. It's going to be hard to generate significant revenue. Same thing with number 4, which is pest control companies, right? Pest control businesses, margins are shrinking, lots of DIY stuff. There's no real supply and demand arbitrage. Probably the supply is meeting the demand, so probably not the business to start. Number 3, new car dealerships. Again, need a bunch of capital to start it, and the car market is not where it needs to be for you to sell a ton of cars to make that profitable. Number 2 was laundromats. We talked about it. Again, very labor intensive, but they're very far from profitable unless you do a lot of things to invest in it. We just saw the example of a guy that's made an extra $500 after expenses, made $500 almost that month from his laundromat. And that's $6,000 a year. And I don't know if you want to take in the overhead of a few $100,000 in order to make $6,000 extra dollars a year. You could probably go off and sell lemonade and make an extra $6,000 a year. And number 1, the worst businesses to start in 2025, restaurants, trucking, and last mile delivery. These 3 industries all tied. Restaurants, again, high failure rates, super razor thin margins. You have to do everything right, and you never have the ability to stop your stop buying things because you always need more food. You always need labor. Those are things that will cost you, especially if you're not getting sales. And then trucking and last mile delivery, rising fuel costs, slim profit margins, constant logistical headaches. We're about to see tariffs and all types of other things pop in. So these would not be the businesses to start in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, if you took anything from this, hopefully it maybe got you to think, maybe I don't need to skate to what I think I've known in the past. I need to skate to where the puck is going. I need to think about what's happening in the future, and I need to go after that side. If you picked up some information from this one, go back to last week here on LinkedIn or on YouTube and look at last week's BizBuzz Live, where we talked about the 10 most profitable businesses to start in 2025. You can gain some insight from there and then make your decisions accordingly, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the reason we do this is to make sure you can grow your cash flow, that you can increase your cash flow so that more of that money goes to the things that you want it to go to in your financial life, whether that's more savings, more investments, getting out of debt, making sure your family's protected, getting an estate plan, whatever it is, it all starts with cash flow. So we want to be able to help you figure out your ideas of how to bring in more money. All right. That's what we're talking about all 2025. Stay tuned. We should be back next week for our last episode of 2025 before we head into, our last episode of 2024 before we head into 2025. That's what we're going to do next week. So stick around for BizBuzz. Until next time, see you guys. Take care.